Well, good evening or good night, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I had to make sure I at least look presentable for you all. Um, so we were going to talk about something tonight. Oh yeah, I was going to go over dividend reinvestment. Since so many of you are so fond of dividend reinvestment, I figured we'd do a quick, like a workshop. Might use a spreadsheet. So what I want to do is look at all the YieldMax funds and just see how we would fare if we were to reinvest the dividends, basically. So we'll start, and I'll kind of go by how many viewers I get. So far, there's none of you, but I had 3 of you waiting, but I ran a little late. I just kind of want to see what kind of attendance we get, on a late Saturday evening. So we'll look at how we would fare if we were to reinvest these dividends that we've gotten in these funds, because I know a lot of you are really fond of dividend reinvesting. So hopefully I get some of you on here. We may have to dig up the old spreadsheet that I was using a couple months ago. So let me look at Google Sheets. Let's see here. So I think I basically was doing these examples with the $1 million dividend example. $1 million invested in this fund or that fund and whatnot. So, and it came out really pretty good, actually. So we'll go through some of these here, like OARK when it got its 63% dividend. Let me go to the spreadsheet here. And I mean, we had some ridiculous numbers on here when I was doing these. So, all right, we got 4 of you on here. Good. So comment away. So I'm going to dig up the old spreadsheet I was using a couple months ago that I haven't revisited in a while. And let's see what we got here. So dividend reinvestment, basically, I was saying, like, if you put $1 million into OARK at the time, you would have come up with this many shares. You would have this dividend. And we were really coming up with some ridiculous numbers with $1 million. And then, like, I even had like Zim, HDiv, SPYI. I think TSLY was on here too. So let's see. TSLY. Yeah, so I said if you put $1 million into TSLY, which somebody like Rob Smith can probably do, you would have had at the time 67,800 shares approximately. This would have been your dividend, and your dividend payout would have been like $675,000. And then I did sell B111 times 12, B112. So this would have been like your monthly dividend for the 4 months. So I basically did do this example before. These were the first 4 months of the TSLY dividend if you had reinvested it. I know recently I've been saying that I wouldn't reinvest because I haven't started reinvesting. I've just been taking the cash dividends, but I'm kind of on the fence about it. So for you all that reinvest these dividends, tell me why you do, and tell me like what you expect. Anyone on here reinvest their dividends in TSLY or NVDY or OARK? Because I basically, I did this with $1 million in the spreadsheet here the last time I updated it. But what I can do, I can actually start with something more simple. And we can probably do like a blank tab over here. And so say that you had, like, take TSLY, for example. Okay, say you had like $10,000 in the TSLY. So 10,000. Let me get my phone. All right. So at the current share price, because we're going up again, so TSLY is up to 1576. We're up actually in the after hours. I don't know why the iPhone's showing a percentage here, but we're up to like 1585 actually. So it's going to open Monday at like 1585. 1585. So you would have like 631 shares. at this price for $10,000. So then say TSLY paid out like a 60-cent per share dividend, right? Which we think it's going to be closer to 60 cents. So then you would take this number, this would be in dollars. You would take this number, divide it by, say, $15. Wait. Divided by 15. We'll say 15, 10, since subtracting the 60 cents, right? And we get zero somehow. How about that? Oh, B3. Okay. So we would get basically 25 new shares, right? If we were to reinvest this. So what I'll say for the 631 shares, if we reinvested this, if we were doing the drip program, if we reinvested this every month, let me make this a little bit bigger. Oh, it's not going to let me now. Oh, because I'm in here. Hold on. Kind of haven't done this in a while. All right. Let's see. Okay. TSLY, move this over here. All right, 631 times, it's going to be 1 point, what percentage would that be? Got to figure this out. 60 cents, or yes, 60, I'm going to say 65 cents divided by 15.85. That would be 4%. Okay, 1.04. So we would have this many shares in 1 month, and then 2 months, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If the dividend held constant, this is how many shares we would have. And then say we're looking at like a $16 share price at the end of the first year. So based on dividend reinvesting alone, that's where you would be. You would have, instead of your 631 shares, if you didn't reinvest, you would have basically 631 times, say, $16. So it seems like you wouldn't have made anything. But reinvesting in the dividends, you're reinvesting them all into the same share price. But I just don't know if I would do that yet. I mean, obviously, with this number here, with the 631 shares, you would have got the same dividends, but you would have had basically $6,000 to invest in something else, right? So you're going to get these dividends regardless. But the idea is that this fund is going to grow over time. Hopefully, it doesn't stay flat. But for me, I'm kind of on the fence about the dividend reinvesting. So let me know what you all think, because you're funny. So I did your suggestion yesterday. I did a lunchtime live stream. You didn't show up, and it's funny because it was your suggestion, right? And now you're saying, is there really a late night happy hour live stream at midnight? That's what we're doing. I'm just testing out different times. You know, I'm known to be very random. I live stream whenever I can, so we'll see what kind of participation we get here. There's been times during the week I've actually gone. I've actually gone until like 1 a.m. on the East Coast. But you know what I say? What better way after some drinks, you know, after being out on like a Saturday, what better thing to do than, you know, come home and talk finances, right? Especially after some drinks, after maybe being buzzed a bit. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of unplanned. I was going to do this at like 10:30, but I just, you know, I ran late. So the normal schedule is during the week, like after 10. Of course, I took your suggestion and I did the lunch hour with the coach. So, but I see that you were able to make this one, so it can't be too out of hand. And what did Parker say here? I'm keeping an eye on OARK for decay. So far, I think TSLY is better at not going down. So why do you do the dividend reinvesting? And that's my question for you. Here's some other comments that came in. We had Denny Keaton on at 11:30. We had, is he starting a live stream? Yeah, you were asking that. Guess he's late today. Yeah, I'm probably late more often than I'm not, you know. So, yeah, this would be a bit of a surprise, I guess, but no 2-for-1 drinks right now, unless just virtually, you know. I've got my drink right here, but okay. So anyone that's a fan of the dividend reinvesting into these YieldMax funds. Speak up now. Now's your chance. Convince me. Convince the coach. So I just did an example of TSLY, but I'm not really seeing anything jump out at me as far as like any benefit to reinvesting versus not. Because like I said, at the beginning of the 12-month cycle, we would start with like 631 shares. And then if we reinvested everything, assuming that the dividend stayed like say 65 cents, which I'm projecting it's going to be next month, then we would end up at 1,010 shares at the end of the 12-month cycle. So we would get our $6,164 in dividends, but they could either be reinvested or not. I think there's actually better opportunities to be had if you just take the cash and invest in something else, like say NVDY, or invest in some call options or something, to invest on the long end, right? You're looking for the champagne room. Yeah, aren't we all? Yes, I reinvest, but I don't always buy the same ticker with the cash. Okay, well, we're on the same page then, because I do the same thing. I always reinvest what I get in dividends, just not in the same ticker. Way to state that, because I'm thinking that a lot of the audience is like reinvesting in the same fund. So, and by the way, we'll definitely be looking for the champagne room more so, and we'll find it and be popping champagne once these funds really start to double and triple in value, right? So yeah, I can agree with this. I mean, we all in this case. I mean, who's actually taking the cash money, right? Who's actually like just taking the cash money and pocketing it? I'm assuming that we all, if we're getting these dividends, we're putting them into something else, right? So, but really, that was what I wanted to talk about here, because I've had so many of you in the comments talk about wanting to reinvest in these dividends. So if these funds don't decay, you'll have to reinvest. Well, what if they do? I mean, how soon or how late do we tell? Because I'm just going to kind of follow it. I'm going to keep an eye. I think I have a feeling with these funds, these are going to stay within the same price range. I'm not anticipating a lot of like long-term appreciation. I'm looking at these as just like purely a dividend play. Like I'm thinking these are just going to spit out these massive dividends, and I'll use them to buy other stuff. So it's almost like these are like cash generating investments. It's almost like having houses that you're generating like rental income from, but the price of the house isn't going to go up, so to speak. So in that case, if the price is going to stay relatively steady, then you wouldn't necessarily, you could do better investing in, say, like Apple stock or whatever. Of course, by the end of this year, we're going to have YieldMax funds, as Jay said on here. He broke the news. We're going to have YieldMax funds for like all the big stocks. So we'll see. I'm just not ready to reinvest the dividends into these funds at the moment, but the jury's still out. I'll give it 6 months and see how they do. I don't think our oldest YieldMax funds are even 6 months old, or maybe they just turned 6 months old, right? Let's see. November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. So 7 months. Okay. So our oldest ones like OARK and TSLY are like 7 months old. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But as far as TSLY, why reinvest in something else that doesn't pay you that 40% yield? Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm kind of like back and forth on it, because reinvesting, you're going to get more shares that are going to pay that much higher yield. So it might be a good idea just for me personally. And of course, what I do personally, I don't recommend you all do. I mean, sometimes it may even be hard to discern a strategy as to what I'm doing, but I do what I do. I do me. You all can follow me and get some ideas, of course, but everybody should invest in whatever way behooves them the best. So, but like for me, um, I want to take that 6 grand and put it into call options that are gonna, like NVIDIA, the ones I sold too soon, the ones that went from a few thousand to like $23,000. Opportunities like that. That's something that's an example of what would be better than a 40% yield. Um, but it is tempting. Like I say, I just need to look at it a little bit more. to make a decision. I may end up reinvesting these dividends. We'll have to see. But like with a fund like SVOL that stays pretty much flat, like I turned off like all my dividend reinvesting in my brokerage. So I just have the cash come in and I just use it to buy stuff as I see fit. So anybody else have anything that they want to talk about today, this evening? Um, I wanted to try to give a good example there. I can look at the others here. I guess since I'm doing the spreadsheet again, it's really been a couple months since I used the spreadsheet. Excuse me. But I can do one for, let's see, NVDY. Actually, I shouldn't. Well, we don't have dividends for these yet, but I can start this and I can do probably another series. I'll just start another series on these, right? So NVDY and Appley, I'll get these ready to go. Let's see here. Yeah, because we don't have dividends in either one of these yet, but they should be coming. Oh, SPY. Oh, you're on late too. Good to see you. So, all right, 11 of us on. So we've officially matched the audience that we had in the middle of the day yesterday. I was a little disappointed yesterday for like a lunch hour. I didn't quite get the audience that I was expecting because I know none of you work, of course, and you're sitting at home waiting for me to live stream, of course. That's a joke, by the way. I got some comments on that. One a commenter said, I see you keep saying that you think your audience doesn't work because we watch your videos in the middle of the day. Don't get me wrong. That's what I want you to do, number one. And number two, because this is mainly a dividend channel, I would assume that, some of us have probably evolved past having a job. So some of us are so entrepreneurial and so savvy with investing that we're making enough money investing to where we don't need to work. Hey, that's where I'm trying to get to. There's no shame in being unemployed if you're making all this money investing, right? And that's what I would hope for. That's what I would sincerely hope for my audience. Let's see. What did you say? I'm fine with flat share price if the dividend stays high. Well, that's what we're looking at, but I just don't want to reinvest, me personally, I don't want to reinvest in something that is going to stay flat. I want to use the money for something else. So, all right, what would a live stream be without a Yahoo Finance excursion? So let's look at Yahoo Finance here. Just going to review these dividends here, see if we have anything. I think June 6th, so Tuesday, we may hear for either NVDY or Appley. So let's see here. Let's see. I'm gonna have to start really evaluating the channel for long-term growth here because I've started to look over some of my metrics. Watch hours are, of course, no longer an issue. Thanks to all of you all. I think I'll meet the watch hour requirement for this year. Now, since I met last year's, I'll probably meet this year's by month number 3. By like month 3 out of 12, basically, because the watch hours are really starting to rack up. That video with Jay alone got me like 200 or 300 watch hours so far. So, and of course, all of you watching live, that helps too. But I'm going to start looking at in terms of like long-term, ad revenue growth, retention rate and whatnot. Because believe it or not, the videos are starting to get pushed out to a much wider audience. But the click-through rate's only like 5%, where I was like 8 or 9% in the past. So what's happening now, whereas the click-through rate was higher with a smaller audience that was pushed out to, it's getting pushed out to a bigger audience, and the click-through rate's like half of what it was. So definitely gotta consider some things here. Oh, is this me, young Jay? Yeah, that's what I want to be, Jay, when I grow up. Manage, what is it, 100 million assets under management? What's the percentage on that, by the way? If you were like an advisor, if you manage 100 million, just say you charge 2%, you'd make 2 million a year if you were like a hedge fund manager. Let's see. Make a video every day on margin and cornerstone. You know what I'm going to do, actually? It's funny you mentioned that because Monday, obviously I can't trade because it's a weekend, but I have the fake Ameritrade account that has like the play money, the $200,000 in play money. I'm thinking, and let me know what you all think about this. I'm going to put of course, it doesn't matter what I do because that's fake money anyway, right? So I don't need to really ask you all like what you think. It's just fake money. I could put it all in GameStop stock if I wanted to, because if I lose it all, it's just fake money. But what I want to do I want to put all of that money into TSLY and then show you all on the screen how much dividends I'm getting from it. Because I would think right now, just say, for argument's sake, say 200,000 at $15 share price, that would be 13,333 shares. And say we're going to get a 65-cent dividend, that would be 8,666. So there's our triple sixes that we so long for. Per month times 12. So that would be a six-figure income in dividends right there. So just put 200,000 in TSLY, and then there's your retirement plan. There's your whole retirement plan right there in like 2 seconds. Just take $200,000, assuming you have that to begin with. That's a step number one to retirement, is having money. It takes money to make money. So $200,000, put all that into TSLY at $15 a share. You're going to get 13,000 and change in shares, and then you're going to get, say, a 65-cent dividend next month. Just assume that's like your average dividend, and the next thing you know, you're getting a six-figure income. So all you need to do is just do that, and boom, you're retired. There's a 50% return on investment right there, because that, of course, will sustain itself. There's no reason to even need to go back and look, right? Just invest and forget, right? Why am I getting Amex ads on here? Some of you that have followed me for a while, you know how I feel about Amex. Let me get rid of that ad. I'm not going to give Amex any free advertising at all on this channel. Oh, I thought it was going to go away on its own. All right, we'll nix this one out here. Come on, go away. Yeah, Amex screwed me on. Look at them, they won't go away. They screwed me on 2 bonus offers. So Friday, we had a really good day for the markets. Unfortunately, it didn't really translate to Meta. But the Dow was up 2%, the Nasdaq was up 1.07%, the Russell was up 3.5%, crude oil was up, S&P was up 1.45%. So all of that is really good news. And we have something about Sotheby's selling Michael Jordan sneakers. Sotheby's, I think, used to be publicly traded, but I guess they went private. And when will Jamie Dimon retire? The industry's top banker knows he can't be the boss forever. How much longer will he stay? Who would replace him? No succession plan. I thought he was going to retire like 5 years ago, honestly. So now that the debt ceiling's been raised again, we as a country can pay our bills, right? Like everybody so thinks. Another stock that's caught my attention here, AI, the C3 AI, 32.26. It's down $2.46 as of Friday, 7% down. We're down again in the after hours, but this is quickly becoming a buzz stock. I think I've sucked half of that thing down already. I need to cut back. Okay, so this one since 2020, that's where we were. We were dropping like a fly. And then the beginning of this year, we've tripled in value. So this is the C3.ai, ticker AI. All right, this is going back into the fridge. So I guess all my West Coast folks, I guess it's still too early for them on a Saturday to be on the live stream. But, oh, there's clip. So let's see here. We'll go back to the comments here. What did I pull up Yahoo for? Oh, I wanted to look at some of these dividends. Let's see. Oh, 14 of you on. I know Meta was up Thursday. Yeah, it went up. I should have sold it Thursday. Truly. Invest 50,000, wait 5 years, then retire. Invest 50,000 in what? TSLY? You actually believe that YieldMax is going to last? I thought these are only for short-term investments. So, Nick, the more you get to know me, the more you'll start to detect a dry sense of humor and sarcasm. So what I was saying about the $200,000, it's a little bit of an inside joke between me and Hoffman and a few other people regarding another channel, right? Who may or may not come on here one day for a collab. I don't know if he will after some of the things I've said. Of course, it's all good fun, but no, I don't know. The jury's still out. I'm invested in YieldMax, but the jury's still out. We'll certainly see. So as long as it's not a rigged jury, as long as we get a fair trial, right? One of our constitutional rights, right? A fair and speedy trial. That even might apply towards funds and fund management companies. All right, let me look at Appley and NVDY because I haven't looked at those in a while. Let's see here. It's funny. One of my other jokes, I had a few people tell me they've never heard of YieldMax after my interview with Jay. They said they've never heard of YieldMax, so it can't be any good. How many times have I joked about that on here? Remember, if you've never heard of something, that means it must be no good at all, right? All right, NVDY, let's just look at this here. We don't have a declared dividend yet, as far as I know. We were down 19 cents Friday, up 75 cents in the after hours, which is strange because NVIDIA was way down. So we'll have to see. It's getting a little bit confusing in the after hours because some of these options, like Jay was telling us, they have to manage the portfolio when the market opens. So we saw, like in the after hours, when NVIDIA had the huge earnings blast, we were actually up in NVDY as much as we were in the stock. But that 30% did not hold when we opened for the day because they had to make some moves because some of those options they were in suddenly were in the money. So they had to make some mitigating moves to get out of that, right? So I just want to check here real quick. No dividend announced yet. I just want to see what Yahoo says here. Let's see. Oh, how did the hockey game turn out, by the way? It was 3-2. I think it's the Panthers' year, but we'll see. There's a stat that said something about whoever wins the first. 5-2. Vegas blew them out. There's a stat that says like whoever wins the first game of the Stanley Cup final has like a 70% chance of winning at all. So we'll see. Okay, dividends. Let's see here. No dividends yet. Okay, now let's look at Appley. And as far as I know, we don't have any. The only two that have actually paid dividends to date were OARK and TSLY, right? So Appley is still holding steady, it looks like. Let's see here. Come on. Since April 18th, we're still up like $1.70. Historical data. Let's go here. Dividends only. I doubt we're going to see anything yet, but we should see something this week. So, okay. I want to look at NVIDIA because I noticed NVDY is way up after hours. So let me look at something here real quick. That's strange. Okay, because NVDY is up in the after hours, but NVIDIA is down slightly. So that's strange. Anyone want to riddle me that one? Let's see. By the way, a very astute commenter pointed out to me that we are officially the only channel that had Jay on live because the other channel he went on wasn't live. So, all right. Any more comments or anything here? I've got like 12 of you on. I'm going to probably just go 30 minutes and call it quits. But I found that very interesting. That's very, I was very honored. So we're the only channel that he actually came on live because the other channel, Passive Income Investing, who, by the way, has like 70,000 subscribers or so, he wasn't live on there. So we were live. The audience got to ask all kinds of questions, completely unscripted, teleprompter free, unlike our politicians, of course. So, and I got a lot of really good reviews on that. A lot of people thought I handled it really well, emceed it really well. So I'm looking forward to having him back on. We could become like the go-to channel for having Jay of YieldMax on, which is really cool. You'd think the channel would be bigger at this point. We're at like 1.63 thousand subscribers. Need to be at like 10,000 by the end of the year. But let's see here. Yeah, June 6th, we're going to have like a D-Day dividend for Appley and NVDY, right? So those are coming. But anyway, so the jury's still out as far as reinvesting these dividends. Right now, like I said, like one commenter pointed out, basically we all reinvest all of our dividends. The question is, do we reinvest in the same funds or not? For me, I don't reinvest in the same funds. But anyway, okay. Well, thank you all for tuning in. Quick little late live stream here. So I'll show back up hopefully by Monday. If you all like that, like, comment, and subscribe. I didn't see anybody new on here, but yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. Help spread the word. And thank you all again, and take care. See you on the flip side.